is that the screen is not going to be scratched by your normal keys or coins. These metals are softer than the level 6 glass hardness. Not even my razor blade can do any damage. It was a little strange to not find a home button at the bottom of the phone. There is no fingerprint scanner to test since the phone is unlocked with your face this time around, and I'm not going to scratch test a face to see if it still works or not. The phone can be woken up with just a tap to the screen, so I don't think the home button being gone is too big of a deal. Apple is running out of things to remove though, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. Up here at the top of the phone, inside the iconic black notch, is the metal earpiece grill. Slightly recessed under the glass, the metal grill holds its shape and won't be falling out. Plus, the holes are small enough to keep dirt and metal shavings from getting inside the magnetic speaker. Thumbs up for that design. The 7 megapixel front-facing camera is under the same glass as the screen, so no scratches happening here. The back of the phone is also covered in glass, and this is where things start to get bad for us as consumers. The scratch resistance is normal, with no damage being done by my razor blade. The iPhone logo is underneath the glass, so it won't be rubbing off or get damaged. That's a good thing. It looks like this was the same tempered glass that was used on the front of the phone, scratching at a level 6 on most scale. So keys and coins won't do damage, but pocket sand and anything else over a level 6, like granite countertops or tile, will scratch the glass. So if you are the type of person who wants to keep your phone pristine, scratch, and fingerprint free, one solution is a skin. Thanks to Dbrand for supporting my durability test, this back panel skin is easy to install and hides fingerprints and protects against scratches when you set your phone down. There's also a full body skin that protects the frame from damage as well. Additionally, skins are also great for hiding accidental cracks in the back glass, which I'll get to in a second. If you're looking for something a bit more colorful than the matte black that you see here, Dbrand has a ton of color options available. Whether you want to keep that Apple logo intact, or my personal favorite, debrand your phone entirely, I'll link the customizer in the description if you want to play around and design your own iPhone. Let's talk about cracks. This might come as a surprise, but glass is glass, and very susceptible to damage. The biggest flaw in this phone is that the back glass is near impossible to replace. Even Apple themselves charge $549 to replace the back glass. Even if you get the insurance and pay the $99 deductible, you're still out $300 for a back panel replacement. The most fragile and most often broken component on this phone is the most expensive to replace. It does have a little plastic buffer between the glass and the metal, which is smart, but as we saw from my iPhone 8 drop test, the glass can crack from a drop as small as 3 feet. I would like to see, by a raise of hands, who here wants to pay $549 for a back glass replacement. Hey Jerry. What? Nobody raised their hands. I guess $549 is a lot of money. But iPhones get dropped a lot. Won't it hurt Apple's image if there's a bunch of unfixable broken iPhones walking around a year from now? Yeah. That's like getting a flat tire and needing to buy a whole new car. I know. Do you think Apple will change their pricing to help their customers in the future? Probably not. Well, that's unfortunate. If you do accidentally crack your glass and don't want to pay Apple's exorbitant pricing, skins are a valid way of making the phone look new again. The flawed back glass construction aside, this camera on the phone is pretty awesome. Dual 12 megapixel sensors with a telephoto lens is a fantastic combination. Cameras are something Apple does really well. Apple claims this lens is sapphire and does a good job of resisting my razor blade, which is about a 5 or 5.5 on most scale. There are 2 circular cutouts on the lens, one for the microphone and another for the quad LED flash. And this iPhone X10 keeps the same stainless steel theme around the edge. It does stick up kind of far, but with how much power it's packing, it's understandable and forgivable. Judging by the marks that my level 6 Mosepix leaves on the lens though, Apple is still using their unique blend of sapphire that doesn't quite match up with the rest of the world's. I've covered that in a few previous videos. The sides of this phone are made from stainless steel. Quite possibly one of my favorite build materials on a cell phone. Super solid, heavy, and just looks good. The side buttons are made from the same stainless steel material. Thumbs up for consistency. Not quite the same ear-bleeding sound we get from aluminum. This is because aluminum is a bit softer than steel and scratches easier. Down to the bottom of the phone where the headphone jack used to be, may he rest in peace, I found something pretty cool. Apple's attention to looks and detail is probably one of the best. Inside the speaker and microphone holes we get the matching stainless steel grille that flows pretty well with the exterior design of the phone. The little things like this is what sets Apple apart from the competition. Well, that, along with the extraordinary superior dongle selection in the Apple Store. This black plastic buffer around the edge of the front glass, in between the glass and the metal frame of the phone, is a good thing to help absorb some of the impact and stress from drops. It's similar to the buffer we saw on the back panel. Finally, we have the burn test. This is the first time Apple has used an OLED display inside of their smartphones. Their previous IPS LCD displays are really good, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to beat the colors on an LED panel. One unique thing about this phone is its touch sensitivity at 120 Hz. The refresh rate of the display is still 60 Hz like on previous phones, but this display tracks your finger 120 times per second instead of the usual 60 times per second like on the iPhone 8. The average person will probably never notice this, but it's interesting to know that it's there. The screen lasted 25 seconds under the heat from my lighter before going white and not recovering. You can tell by my fingerprint remaining on the burn mark that the oleophobic coating has burned off, so there is permanent damage. Don't try this trick at home. The heat did mess with the touch sensitivity for a second, but after the phone cooled down, it all came back. And finally, the bin test. It's time to see if those antenna lines are a weak point in the phone's design. Flexing the phone allows us to see how well the phone is constructed, and gives a general idea of any flaws that will present themselves in the coming years that you own your phone. There is a very minor flex of the body as I bend the frame, but there is no screen separation or body damage along those antenna lines, so the water resistance should remain intact. This is an incredibly solid phone. The Achilles heel of the iPhone X and iPhone 8 design is its irreplaceable glass back. It won't bend, scratch, or burn, but one little drop and it'll be cracked forever. $549 is just an incredibly unrealistic and unreasonable charge for something as fragile and prone to breaking as glass. Aftermarket Samsung back glass replacements are $20, so it can be done. Apple just chooses not to. To each their own though, this phone passes my durability test